What if you never threw away a single fingernail you clipped? Imagine trimming your nails, drilling a tiny hole through each one, and stitching them onto a piece of fabric like bizarre little decorations. Every time your nails grew back, you'd repeat the process, adding more and more. Eventually, after collecting around 10,000 nails, the fabric would be completely covered enough to turn it into a dress. The only problem, growing that many nails would take nearly 400 years, so you'd never live long enough to wear your unsettling masterpiece.
Have you ever wondered whether making a dress out of your own fingernails is actually possible? Or whether your body would give up first? The answer is much more interesting than you might think, because this strange idea turns into a fascinating lesson about human biology, mathematics, and the limits of time. At first glance, the concept sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. Save every fingernail you ever clip, stitch them together one by one, and eventually you'll have enough material to wear. It feels disgusting, sure, but scientifically speaking, the idea isn't completely impossible. Well, the real obstacle isn't your sewing skills, it's your biology. Let's start with nail growth. Human fingernails grow surprisingly slowly. On average, they increase in length by about 3 millimeters every month. That's roughly the thickness of 2 stacked credit cards. Even though your nails seem to need constant trimming, they are actually growing at a very modest pace. Interestingly, not all nails grow equally fast. Your middle finger usually wins the race, while your thumb and little finger tend to lag behind. Age also matters. Children's nails grow much faster than adults, while growth slow as we get older. Even factors like nutrition, blood circulation, and overall health can slightly influence the rate. Now, imagine trying to build an entire dress from one slow production line. Your fingers would basically become a tiny factory with only 10 workers, and those workers would be on the slowest schedule imaginable. They don't work overtime, they don't rush because you have a deadline. They simply keep producing keratin, the protein that makes up your nails, at their own pace. Even if you never miss a clipping, you could be waiting centuries. And here's where biology throws another obstacle in your way. Fingernails aren't flat sheets of material. They are naturally curved, brittle, and relatively small. Drill tiny holes into every single clipping, and many of them would probably crack before you even start sewing. Keratin is tough enough to protect your fingertips, but it's not designed to behave like fabric. Imagine spending 3 months collecting clippings, carefully drilling holes into each one, only to hear a tiny snap as half of them split apart. Congratulations, your dress is now confetti. But let's pretend we somehow solved the engineering problem. Would a nail dress even be comfortable? Probably not. Thousands of overlapping nail fragments could create a surprisingly rigid surface. Instead of flowing like cloth, it would likely behave more like flexible armor. Sitting down might sound like someone shaking a bucket or of poker chips. Walking could produce an endless chorus of clicking noises that could announce your arrival long before anyone actually saw you. Forget fashion shows. You would sound like a haunted Queen Kim. Then there's the issue almost nobody thinks about: hygiene. Freshly clipped nails are generally harmless when clean, but storing them for decades or centuries is another story. Dust, oils, moisture, and microorganisms could accumulate if they weren't preserved properly. Museums spend enormous effort preserving materials that are only a few hundred years old. Imagine trying to maintain thousands of tiny fragments over 4 centuries without losing them, damaging them, or accidentally vacuuming them into oblivion. One careless spring cleaning could erase 50 years of progress. That would be the world's most heartbreaking cleaning accident, there's also a mathematical problem hidden behind the joke. Humans simply don't live long enough. The average lifespan is nowhere near 400 years, which means no single person could ever finish this bizarre project naturally. Even if future generations inherited the collection, they will probably have some uncomfortable questions when you handle them a box label. Please, continue sewing my fingernail dress. That's one family tradition nobody could be excited to continue. So, what's the real lesson here? This string thought experiment highlights how incredibly slow biological processes can be compared with our expectations. We often think our bodies are constantly changing, and they are. But many of those changes happen at a pace that's almost invisible from day to day. Nail growth is a perfect reminder that even simple biological systems operate according to fixed physical limits. In the end, science says the dress is theoretically possible, but reality says you run out of time long before you run out of imagination. Sometimes the weirdest internet ideas aren't interesting because they could actually happen. They are interesting because they reveal just how fascinating the human body becomes when you stop and do the math. So, what's your take on this? Let me know in the comment, and I'll see you in the next video.